Good morning, beautiful humans. Today going to offer up some sweet morning nectar, just some movement and breath in the body. It is nourishment for the body. So I just woke up here in Bali and have been feeling a little bit stiff. I move a lot here. My mind sometimes isn't caught up with my body. I've been playing a lot of basketball, so quite stiff as my body's recalibrating to that. Yes, I play basketball. So in the mornings, really getting to notice and feel so much more sensation than I often feel when I wake up. So this will be my morning practice as well. So we'll move and breathe together. And I encourage you to see what feels good, leave the rest, color outside the lines as well. And something that I wanted to share, I was talking with my friend Kimberly today, who I teach with. She'll be teaching the Bali 200 hour with me as well as the Thailand retreat. And she just flew home from Bali, flew back to Australia, and she messaged me and told me that someone had wished her a really easeful, fluid travel day. And she was like, oh, is that an option? Because sometimes we just expect things to go not well. I know when I have travel days, I'm kind of like, who wants to mess with me? I'm ready for something to go wrong, because it often just seems like it does. But how much of that am I bringing to it? I'm bringing that lens and that view to the situation rather than seeing it as it actually is. If you've heard me talk about polyvagal theory and the nervous system, this would be like putting on our yellow lenses, really hypervigilant, looking out for threat. And we actually can just meet life as it is. Wouldn't that be nice if we could just meet life as it is? It doesn't mean that it's not going to be stressful, but maybe it's easeful. But we have to come with the clear lenses in order to do that. I just posted a quote on Instagram last night, a Ram Dass quote that said, you can do it like it's a great weight on you, or you can do it like it's part of the dance. So this morning, whatever you have going on today, whether you think it's going to be something that is going to be challenging or stressful, maybe it won't. Come to it with some clarity. Maybe it can be part of the dance. So let's close our eyes down or let them be heavy and just settle in your body. So maybe take a few wiggles first. And whether you're doing this actually in the morning or, you can do it any time. These classes are actually for any time. Just meet yourself where you are, whether it's the first time meeting yourself today or the 10th. And come into stillness. And just feel what you feel. Where does your awareness go? What is it directed to? And see if you can dedicate this time, this practice that you've carved out for you to be here, to be in your body, to be in your life as it's rolling out in live time, real time action here. And anything that's going on later, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen later. So let that stay there. It's not an easy request. When I find myself future tripping often, I've actually been saying to myself, stay in your body, or stay in your life, stay in your body, stay in your life, stay in your body. Because really, when we're always out, we're living in a virtual reality. Stay in your life, stay in your body. And bring the hands to heart center. And then we're going to take Universal Trust Mudra. So they're prayer pose Anjali Mudra. And then interlace the hands, open the palms, turn the thumbs up. Hands to heart center. This is a little beauty from Jack, a little mudra flow here. So first feeling into this universal trust mudra, just this having our own back or front, being there for ourselves. And it really is highlighted in this mudra, this feeling of heart pressing into hands, hands pressing into heart. Big inhale here. And then exhale, we're going to push the hands forward and bring the heels together, the heels of the hands, and then open the palms. So lotus mudra, but we're growing out. So from the inside out. And then pull the hands back. So this is two mudras. Pull the arms back to the body. One hand up, right hand up, left hand down. Accepting and release would be the easiest way to explain these. I explain them separately in other areas. This is like being here for it. Like I'm here for it. I'm going to take what works. I'm going to leave the rest, but I'm here for it. And then hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Prayer. All right, universal trust mudra. Open up the hands, bring it to the heart. And then exhale, grow your lotus out from the inside out. Reach. And then inhale, open up. Full presence. Taking what works, leaving the rest, but showing up. And exhale, hands, heart center. We're going to do that 3 more times, but I want you to move at your own pace. Maybe you move with the breath. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're speaking a mantra as you move through them. But move like you. We meet in Anjali Mudra. Feeling what you feel. And 1 Om to start the practice. Inhale. Let the hands float down to the knees and just begin to sway the spine like all of a sudden there was a little bit of jello injected into the bones, and just let yourself be loose. So we're wanting to nourish ourselves with movement and breath. Nectar, sweet nectar, I love that word. So let your practice today embody this kind of like jello-esque sensation. So we'll go through some familiar poses, but see if you can invoke this jello nectar into it. And also let the breath initiate the movement. So there's a natural rise and a fall with the breath. So maybe begin to lift the arms. It's an inhale on a lift, and an exhale, they float down. Maybe you're just lifting a little bit, like getting air in the sails, wind in the sails, moving with your breath. We'll eventually reach the arms all the way up, but we're taking a long time to get there. It's a little bit of a kind of a dancey move here. Just moving with the breath, with the winds. Setting the metronome of the rhythm and the breath. And the arms begin to get higher. And then once more, reach all the way up. This time, let the hands connect Kali Mudra. Reach up, 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 get long, press down through the sit bones and get really long through the crown of the head and the hands. And then exhale, the right hand floats down, big side body stretch. Root down through the left sit bone and get really long from the left hip all the way through the left fingers. Reach especially through the pinky finger. And then inhale, cactus the top arm just slightly. And then to exhale, let's swoosh around to the other side. Left hand plants. Right arm comes up. And then with every breath, there's a little bit of that ascension or descension depending on inhale or the exhale. And then inhale, slight cactus of the arm. This spirals the heart up. And then whoosh, come low maybe to the other side. A little bit of a pulsation with the breath. About 3, and then we open up, cactus the arms, spiral the ribs around the spine, and then whoosh, come low to the other side. You know where we're going. Last time, kind of cactus, open the heart, and whoosh to the other side. That's a verb. I'm using that as a verb. With your own breath, one more time. Starting to feel in your body where there's freedom or where there's a little bit of tension. I can feel it in my low back. And kind of send the breath to the sensation. And then this time when you come forward, just come all the way forward and take a pause. Maybe the forehead comes down to the ground. Maybe just the hands do, or anywhere there in between. Find a little bit of sway so I can feel this. Getting a little bit of love into the lower back. So notice where you need it and see if you can give some focused attention there. And then walking the hands up. Let's lean over towards the right. I was just doing this accidentally the other day and it felt really good, so I'll share it. I'm just bringing my right arm down and kind of pressing into the leg, spiraling the heart to the left, and then press the left hand down into the leg. So I'm getting some traction and I'm pushing away. So it's just helping me get long on the left side body. And then switching sides. So maybe this feels good or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just in my body. And then coming to center and pressing down so that you can lift the spine up. It's like you're doing an upward traction. And release. All right, let's go into tabletop position. Tuck the toes and come back into an active child's pose. So active child's pose, hips towards the heels, but the toes are tucked. It's like the heels are being back and the heart is being pulled forward at the same time. Gecko palms in the hands, so you're quite active. Arms are alive and engaged. You're like being pulled in two opposite directions here. So this is an inhale, kind of biceps are wrapped down. And then exhale, chin to the chest. Scoop the tailbone and then the low back, upper back, round as you come forward. Really push, push, push into the earth. Push the back of the heart up. And then inhale, soften the elbows. The heart comes through, hips sink back. Move with resistance. So you move in between these two poses. And really exaggerate it. Find some nuance. Just a different version of cat-cow. A couple more times. Sending big breath to where you need it. And then we're going to come up onto toes, toe sit, which, you know, really doesn't feel like it's a very nectar pose. Not for me, but maybe Maybe we try to have an easeful journey with it. Bring a clear lens instead of that toe sit lens. And just stay, pause, breathe. Maybe have a new experience with it. Feel the intensity and note the intensity as an opening, as a benefit. Challenge doesn't have to only mean hard, it can also mean growth. Slowly release. Hands down, untuck the toes and tap them out. All right. Tuck them back down, press into the hands, lift up, downward facing dog, and see if you can bring some of that jello softness here. Wag the tail, wiggle the hips. Bend the knees, lift the heels, and send both of them over towards the right. So you're going to kind of take your right hip and as if you could kiss it to your right elbow. Get really long on the left side body. Maybe come onto the left fingertips and walk them out a little bit. It's like you're swinging your hips over. And then switch sides. Bend the knees, heels are high, swing them to the left. And really wag the tail towards the left. Maybe come onto the right fingertips and walk them out. Getting as long as you can from the right fingertips down to the right hip. And then come back to center, downward facing dog. Let's wave forward plank pose. And then softly drip the knees down. And as they touch, the heart pulls through, the elbows soften, and then the heels or the hips come back to the heels, active child's pose. Scoop the tailbone first. Let that begin the movement. Low back, mid back, upper back around as you pull yourself forward, reach through the fingers. And then push into the earth as the heart comes forward. The knees lift. Pause for just a moment. And then the hips move up and back in downward dog. Let's do that again. Inhale, the heels lift and that energy continues to move up the legs. Spine rounds forward. Shoulders over wrist and the knees gently drip down. And as they do, the heart reaches through. Elbows soften and the hips begin to guide back to the heels. Really push through the hands, but kind of fight it with the hips. So you find that resistance. Scoop the tailbone, push through the hands, and then round lower back, mid back, upper back. Shoulders over wrist, heart moves through, elbows bend, push through the hands, lift the knees. Hips guide you up and back, downward facing dog. That'll be our little vinyasa. Slowly walk the feet forward. Really slow, like each foot, you're making a print with your foot. So you're feeling the heel in each toe pad come down. Meet at the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And as we do this, come to the fingertips, bend the knees as much as you'd like. But the same sensation of kind of scooping the tailbone, lifting the mid back, the upper back, and then lengthening the heart forward through the shoulders. Exhale, fold with that length. So it's kind of a three-part movement here. It's an inhale, you round and lift, puff up the back of the heart, and then lengthen, and then fold, heart led. A couple more times like this. Inhale, press through the feet, lengthen, and fold. Press, rise, lengthen, and fold. All right, bend the knees even deeper, press through the feet, and we're going to round all the way up. And shake as you do. Let this be really slow. It's kind of like a fascial rounding. You can shake a lot or a little vibration, but when you find a spot that's like, oof, that feels good, that kind of good hurt, then stay there for a moment. Sometimes I send one hip up, then the other hip up. Act as if like there's no bones in your arms, like they're just hanging there. And slowly find your way up. And when you get there, let's take a really good shake. Some audible out breaths. Maybe flicking the fingers, getting rid of any residue. About 5 more rounds of breath. Really shake it out, create new space. And find stillness. Palms facing forward, heart open, collarbone wide. Firmly footed through the feet. Slowly hands come to heart center, and let's take that little mudra flow twice through. So bring the hands to the heart, inhale, trust mudra. And then exhale, push it out, lotus. Inhale, accepting and releasing, and exhale, hands to heart center. Once more. Inhale to the heart, trust, and exhale, grow it out. Inhale, pull back, accept, release, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, the arms go really wide this time. Kind of arc the back, the heart opens, chest opens, and then bring the hands behind the back. Clasp them, the heart lifts up as the fists go down, and then hinge at the hips. Lead with the heart, fold forward. Really soft bend in the legs, getting a stretch through the shoulders. Steady, easeful. And then slowly release. We're going to come into chair pose, but not just any old chair pose. We're going to wave the spine. So cat and cow in the back. So any variation, welcome. I'm kind of like undulating a little bit, but do you add some artistic liberty, but find some sway. And then fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, big step back with the right foot. The back knee plants. Right hand goes on the edge of the mat, and walk the left leg out to the edge of the mat. Hands go on the inside, lizard pose, and just make moves. There's so many places to go here. Complete liberty. Maybe swing your hips all the way over one end or all the way to the back of the mat. But several rounds of breath here just to play. A couple more rounds of breath. And then meeting top of the mat, left hand to the knee, and we'll take a twist. So soften the elbows. Pull the heart forward and up, almost like you were going to like do a back bend over a giant beach ball. Kind of grow yourself up and back. And then the heart can spiral towards the left. So anywhere you'd like to be here. Big breath though. Slowly release. Left hand plants down and shift back. Downward facing dog. Lift the heels and bend the knees deeply and send both of them over towards the right. Big side body stretch. Wag the tail as if you could kiss the right elbow with the right hip. Come onto the left fingertips and rotate looking under the left armpit. And downward dog. Do that on the other side. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, and wag yourself over towards the left. Open, open, open. And downward dog. Let's take our little vinyasa here. Lift the heels and let that energy float up the backs of the legs, rounds the back. And then softly knees drip down. Heart comes forward. And then push yourself back, hips to heels. Scoop the tail round the back, coming forward. Heart moves through the shoulders, push into the earth, hips up and back, downward dog. Slow walk forward. Putting more weight into the hands with each step. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Bend the knees round as you come up. Just take it up in one breath. Inhale, lift the arms, and exhale, hands to heart center, once time through the mudra flow. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, grow it out. Inhale, open, and exhale, hands to heart center. This time, arms in a big T, hinge the hips back. Soften the knees as the hands go behind the back. Open the heart as the fists go low, and then bend at the hips, the knees as you fold forward. Full round in and out. Bend the knees back, sit in a chair, and then a few times cat-cow chair pose. Let the breath move the body. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Just threading movement with breath. One more inhale. And exhale all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, left foot back, back of the mat, lizard pose. So right foot to the outside of the mat. Hands on the inside of the foot, and then take an explore. And not even trying to necessarily match what you did on the other side, just letting this be its whole new thing. We so get stuck in patterns. Just again, remembering what Kim was saying this morning of like, oh, I didn't know it could be easeful. You know, like we bring our assumptions and our stories about life, about ourselves. And like having to get out of those patterns and the stories, like what a benefit. It's hard to do, but it's like, this is like that, that is like this. You know, maybe it has been before, but it doesn't always need to be. All right, meeting top of the mat. And let's take that big twist. So right hand to the right knee. And first let's think about growing from the base. So growing from the left knee, getting long on the front quad, getting long from pubic bone to belly, belly to heart. And then as if you were growing up and over a giant beach ball. Soften the elbows. Let the heart plume up and forward, like you were puffing up your chest, like your little bird puffing up its little heart feathers. There's probably a better word for that, heart feathers. Breast, a bird breast. And slowly release. Find your way downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, and send them over towards the right. Take a couple breaths here. So maybe you stay where you've been, or maybe you open up the top arm. Maybe you even lift one of the legs. Just plain, nowhere to get to. Downward dog, and then move over to the other side. And sink the hips low, bend the knees. So this really works with the feet on the ground. If you have to really stick the booty out and bend the knees, so you're getting some more leverage there. Downward dog. Inhale, wave forward, plank pose. Exhale, drip the knees down. Heart shifts through, and then push hips to heels. You know where we're going. Round forward. Downward dog.
This time, lift the right leg up, bend the knee and open the hip. Put a little bit more weight into the right hand and pull back on the left hip crease. Whoosh. And then inhale, shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale, tripod down dog. Exhale again, knee to nose. And then figure four, downward dog. So take the right ankle over the left knee and then push through the hands. Send the hips up and back. Feel free to make movement here. I like to bend the standing leg so I have a little bit of a shelf. And then send the left heel down to the right. Come up onto the left fingertips. Get light in the left fingertips. And then maybe open up into a side plank, or let's come all the way down. Actually, let's just come all the way down, or do you. And just roll onto the hip. That feels really nice. If you get crazy, needing some hip opening, this can feel really good with a soft ball underneath. Well, good, like good hurt good. So kind of exploring here, really pushing into the right hand. That feels really nice. And then we're going to move into pigeon pose. So you're just going to come back where you were, figure four, downward dog, maybe bend the knee, really bend the standing leg knee, and then pounce forward into pigeon pose. So just a slow hold here. You're welcome to take sleeping swan. In that case, you're just going to turn on the hip and let the back knee bend. And you kind of turn to the side, so your choice. But we'll be here for a couple minutes. So figure out where you'd like to stay. And again, maybe you have a story around pigeon pose. Can you have a different experience with it? You're welcome to also roll onto the back and take reclined pigeon. I just started reading Braiding Sweetgrass. I don't know if anyone's read that book. It's been highly recommended to me. And often when something's recommended so much, my little rebel doesn't want to do it, but I'm finally reading it and it's amazing. And she was talking about restoration and actually talking about land restoration last night in the book. And about restoration, being able to actually restore something. It's really a restoration. Like you have to restore something. You have to believe a different story about it in order to come into a new relationship with it. And I think that's so potent on many levels. Our world is really made up of the way that we see it and the way that we believe it, not necessarily the way that it is. It's the stories that we tell about it. So to restore something, to change the way that we interact, we really do have to restore. To note what our stories are and actively decide whether they serve. I'm only about 6 pages in and I've already underlined quite a bit. Slowly roll on to the right hip. And let's open all the way up. This is one of my favorite poses here. A wide Janu Shirshasana. So you can take left elbow to the knee or to a block. You can also take it to the foot. I'm not, if that's in your practice. But what we're gonna do is just lean towards the left, getting long on the right side body. Right arm can go up and over, or can also go behind the back. So different options. Just a big side stretch here. And see where you can find some points of contact, like pushing into the leg to help you twist, or maybe the top arm, the hand and head come together. Or maybe even like we did before in the beginning, taking the right hand and pressing into the thigh. Just about 3 more rounds of breath here, and invite a gentle ascension on the inhale and a gentle settling on an exhale. And next inhale, rise all the way up. Twist towards the right. Plant the hands down and shift back, downward facing dog. Let's take a little vinyasa here. Lift the heels and let that begin the movement going all the way through the body. Knees kiss down. Hips kiss the heels or that direction, and then round forward. Downward facing dog. Inhale, the left toes lift up, 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 up. And exhale, knee to nose, slow, steady, soft. Inhale, up and back. And exhale, knee to nose. Take the ankle over the knee and sit back. Really make a shelf with the right leg. Push into the hands, get long. Find some buoyancy. And then take the back heel down towards the left and either stay in a side plank or gently set the left hip down and have a bit of a roll on it. Maybe softening the movement, even if it's strong. You can be strong and soft. And we're moving into pigeon pose. So when you're ready, heart spirals down, right hand plants, and shift yourself forward. Place the leg down. And find where you'd like to be. Taking time to explore. This is a completely different side. Settling in, softening in. Allowing it to be what it is. This is what it is right now. Letting any story fade away and meeting it as it is. One more deep inhale. Sigh it out, let something go. And lifting up slowly. And then rolling onto the hip. And I'm going to switch. Do a flipperoo here into this wide Janu Shirshasana. And leaning over towards the right, finding where you'd like to be. Elbow to block or bolster or thigh. And getting really long on left side body. And finding where you'd like to have the arm up over the head. Hand to the thigh or behind the back, maybe taking the bind. Grounding in left sit bone. Really breathing in space on both side bodies. Can you get a little wider between the ribs and the hips, even on the right side? Maybe a little bit of movement with the breath. And slowly coming up. Finding downward facing dog. One more vinyasa here. Well, let's take it to the side first. Inhale, wave forward. And exhale, wave back. And go ahead and just bring both heels to the right. So we're kind of waving back into that position. Stay here for a moment. Maybe you open up. Maybe a leg and arm goes up. Downward dog. Wave forward. And then as you wave back, heels to the left. Plant the feet down, bend. A couple rounds of breath to explore. Downward facing dog. Inhale, wave forward. Soft knees kiss down. Hips to the heels. Scoop and round. Hips high, downward dog. Slow walk forward. Give the weight into the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Round, lengthen, and fold. Soft bend in the knees, press down to lift up. Exhale, hands, heart center. One flow here through the mudra. Inhale, hands at the heart in trust. And exhale, grow out. Inhale, open. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale into a big T. And hands behind the back. Open heart, fist reaches down. And bend forward, fold forward through the shoulders. Full round of breath. Bend the knees, sit the hips back, and find some fluidity. Cat-cow. My favorite kind of chair pose is a moving chair pose. They can be really big or they can be little tiny waves. And then fold yourself down. Inhale, halfway lift again. Come to the heels this time. And then sink the hips to the heels. Bring the feet, the thighs together. Let's bring the hands to the knees if that feels accessible. Maybe hands to the heart. Kiss the heart into the thumbs back into the heart. The more you kind of stick the booty out a little bit and get an arc. I have a little counterbalance here. Squeeze the thighs. And then slowly the heels come down, the booty comes down, the arms reach forward. And we find a seat, Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Fold forward, softly, gently drip yourself. Stillness or sway. Sukhasana. You can also take Shavasana as well. I like to take the seated pose when I'm practicing in the morning, but do your prerogative. And just take a few moments in silence. Open awareness. Not focusing on anything certain, but open, like zooming out your lens of awareness. And just observing what you observe, feeling what you feel, and letting it all be there. All the things at once. And not all the things are there, letting all the things be here. This is what it is right now. Filterless, true presence. We can do it like it's a big weight on us, or we can do it like it's part of a dance. Hands together, thumbs at the third eye. Thank yourself for showing up for you today. Thank this practice for coming down through so many teachers to us. Let's pour forward in thanks and gratitude. That felt really good in my body. I hope it was a benefit to you. And just a big thanks to Jack for this mudra flow. I love it so much. And to Kim as well. Appreciation to Kim for her message this morning that really made me think about the topic that I brought, that this, the stories that we tell about something. It's good to have good people in your life reminding you of these things. So hopefully you had a reminder as well. So I'll see you all next time on your mat. Until then, be well.